Well, Merry Hippopotamus Day. Is there such a thing as a Merry Hippopotamus Day? I don't know. You tell me. We were down to Roseman, California. Yeah, I decided to act a little bit. Would you call this normal? Holiday normal? Having a mask in front of you, an armful of this stuff, and yet there is something on his head we're not quite sure of. Yeah, doing a video concerning about George Bailey scenarios. Outlining of what the thing's been going on these days. It's easy enough to go into the manic depressive mode. I mean, after you do the media, you got to do depression, right? And then you got to feel sorry for yourself and everything else going on in life. And nothing else matters anymore. Nothing. The problem is, every time I keep turning on the damn news, it always shows the same stuff, you know? But it's just the reason why we need the traditions. We need to do something to try to liven up ourselves. And yes, unfortunately, I don't have any bells on this damn thing. I think the ones with the bells are on the windows already. I just wanted something to be a head warmer. It's going to get cold tonight. It's going to be in the upper 20s out here in Antelope Valley, California. But I'm hoping maybe that closer it gets to a holiday season, or through the holiday season, I can still try to salvage something positive out of this place. We have gone through so much. I know we're all looking forward to New Year's. I know we're all looking for 2021 to be the better year for every one of us. That we're hoping and praying like crazy that somehow, someone, we're going to get through this day. I'm hoping so. Because I would hate to think that this year is going to be the last year of all of our lives, or at least in one person's life. And just sit back and be retrospective about things instead of just going out with a blaze of glory instead of just going out with a whimper. Said before in the other video, I needed to get something up to remind me. And I showed you how tacky the damn thing was in the first place. And you do what you got to do with it regarding decorations at this point over here. It's not linear. It's not formulated. It's not mechanical. It's not calculated. It's just is. And a homey touch. A reminder of better things and of better days. Of better times. And that's what gets to me sometimes. I mean, I have to say this. You know? Try to do a George Bailey, try to do It's a Wonderful Life. And then you get into the retrospective of it all. You start going back in your memories and see how things used to be, and you try to do the comparisons, and then you're like, we had it better back then. Well, it depends upon our perspectives, you know? I mean, I have to talk about it, put it into my own perspective, because I don't know what your perspective is. I don't know what mine is. We can go off and talk about what our own lives were like during the holiday seasons. We can all share of what we've done. And in doing so, we're trying to express and communicate to the other people that, look, this is what we've done. And it should be something worth notable. But why do I get the distinct impression it's not exactly the easiest damn thing to talk about? At least for me, anyway. I looked at the blank walls for a hell of a long time throughout this year. Had to take them down. You know, when you get an annual inspection of these apartment complexes, some of them do have the rules of saying you can't deface the property. That means you have to take lights down and stuff like that. They don't want to see blank walls. not pictures all around the place to tell you this is home. Some places would allow you to put pictures all over the damn place, and the place I'm in right now just doesn't allow that. So you have to be creative when you're putting up your lights. But I had these lights on, actually, had the lights up for almost a year before the inspection kicked in. And I needed that. Bills were really high, but turn off certain lights and you just deal with the little LEDs. Don't suck up that much power. And you're just basking in the glow of it. And in the holiday season, even the lights that we have in here had a little bit of calmness, a little serenity, a little bit of peace of mind if needed be, or peace of spirit. I mean, how could colored lights in a bulb mean something that much? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And I get to be surprised all that often. That by turning off the lights every so often and just deal with the Christmas lights, not just the music, but just like with the lights itself. I'm reminded of other times that I've had with my families, and I'm reminded of other times that we've come across that were hard enough anyway. And in dealing with all the hardships experienced, all the loss of family members, and all the hassles we've been dealing with. Let's check it out and put it in my own perspective at this point over here. I just can't keep grouping everybody else in the damn thing, but we're all got our own damn hassles in the first place. But in looking at all this, just simple concoction of a few lights, and I'm expecting to get more later on and add to it. Believe me, I want to add more to this. I want to get the ambience. I want to get the atmosphere again. It's closer to the holiday season. I know people like to listen to the music and then looking at the lights, and then they try to get into the spirit of things. That's one way of doing it. My family tried to do that too sometimes. I know I said at one time there was a Christmas that we didn't have it, and made our year completely hell. I don't remember when the hell I was, probably in the 90s, late 90s. And things have happened, and you barely remember to get a tree and lights up. You had to work on it all night, and had to make sure things were just right the next day. And your mother just thumps on your ass because you waited too damn long. Should have been done after Thanksgiving. You told me, you told me, you told me, you told me. And I couldn't tell you how many times I kept replaying that damn thing in my head. Every time Christmas would come by, the image of that and the feelings and the disappointment. So we had to make sure, my family, my brother, my mother, and we had to make sure that right after Thanksgiving, we had the Christmas decorations out already. We had to get the tree up, regardless of whatever form the damn thing was in. And get the lights up, get the lights outside up, get the lights inside up. So at least we had at least the bare minimum of 2 weeks of soaking in the damn atmosphere before we actually celebrated the holiday, the day itself. But it wasn't exactly the day that you're celebrating, especially when you're in the Judeo-Christian era. When you're still celebrating the holiday season itself. I mean, hell, you got Hanukkah coming up. Hanukkah is Judaism. Christianity was an offshoot. And afterwards, Kwanzaa is, I believe, as I heard and learned, that it was African. That's cool. And those significant days were trying to show people just how special certain times are and what they mean to people. Why we do the traditions, why we focus on the rituals, why we need to put up Christmas lights, why we need to put up a tree, why we need to put up a menorah, why we need to have the dreidels on, why do we need to have the music for the holiday seasons, why do we need to go to services. We are reminding ourselves of what things that matter most to us. What brings out our humanity. What brings the best of us out. We remember trials and tribulations long ago. We remember miracles that happened. We remember that there is hope entrenched in these rituals, in the holiday seasons, in the meaning of all of it. Because without that, it's just putting up lights. It's like a big whoop. Leaving up a tree for a hell of a long while, just looking at it as just a piece of garbage. It's a big whoop. You get a silly hat on. Big whoop. Big whoop, big whoop, big whoop. No, it's not a big whoop. No, it's not a big whoop. It's a big deal. For some of us who actually hold on to things like this, most precious to us, we hold it in our hearts dearly. We hold it in our heads and our thoughts. We hold hands when we can. The season is hard. This year it's become even harder that we can't do this. We can't clasp. We have to social distance. And that's the hardest damn thing of all sometimes is the distancing. We want this. We want this. We want this mostly. And it's hard that we can't have that sometimes. But know that when we do the rituals, when we do our traditions, when we do everything to remind us of what the holiday season means to us individually, in a way we are getting the hug, in the way we are clasping hands, in a way we are trying to show that we're trying to show something, that's for sure. Sometimes it's indescribable. Some of the wordsmiths can actually find the right words and say the things, but sometimes it eludes. And you just have to deal with it, you know. I have to deal with it. But I'm also grateful. Season like this, with the lights being on the way they are right now, I don't feel the stress, I don't feel the pressure, I feel elevated a little bit. Giddy a little bit. But a little bit more calmer, a little bit more less stressed. Because I did something, even though I am alone, and maybe somehow the lights are leaking outside will mean something to someone else. Maybe it's something that someone will see and they'll take a little piece of that with them in their heart and carry it with them somewhere. We're not exactly doing this for ourselves, we're doing it for each other. We're doing this to help each other out one way or another. That's why we post pictures, that's why we do the music videos, that's why we show lights like crazy, that's why we do the Christmas cards. That's why we give out the presents left and right. The gifts. We have the celebrations. And I know it's hard as hell right now as it is, that we can't do the celebrations as we like to, or as we normally would. And then we got a new normal we're going to have to get used to for a while. But the one thing I'm told so often, whatever you believe This too shall pass. We don't like the duration of the damn thing, but it'll pass. And then maybe when we're ready, or when it's deemed ready, we may have a new normal that we're not aware of, and maybe it'll be better. Maybe it'll be worse. I don't know. But for right now, for whatever it is, let's be grateful. Let's be appreciative. We're already past a holiday of being thankful. Now let's remind ourselves that this is going to be hopefully a season of miracles one way or another. Little miracles add up. We're always looking for the big miracles at this point over here. But I gotta ask you something. What's bigger and what's more important? Over a dam? Or a small tributary that's being built up stone by stone by stone until it changes the course of the river and it changes the course of the landscape. Of course, you're looking for the big thing of Hoover Dam. Unless you happen to see the bigger picture outside of it. Hoover Dam can only cover so much area. But you gotta look at the bigger picture sometimes when you're building up a tributary. And you're building up a small dam, stone by stone by stone. And then you're seeing how the water is changing things around. And changing everything around. And it becomes totally weird. And somehow down the road, that's going to be affecting a hell of a lot more than Hoover Dam will. But again, Hoover Dam's pretty damn impressive when you're talking about a miracle at this point over here. A small dam with the rocks being built up to change a river into a damn flood situation, that's even worse. You got to be impressed about that one. Anyway, that's all I got for today. We'll see what happens tomorrow.